All right, so I'm Justin Bells with AMP Landscape Lighting. I'm the East Coast outside sales rep, and I'm here with Levi and Tyler from Tri-State Lighting. Welcome, guys, and congratulations on being the July Contractor of the Month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're super excited to have this partnership with you guys, but also very excited to see how much you guys have grown and where you've taken lighting from the next level in some areas. Part of the reason you guys are July Contractor of the Month is because you have a really cool backstory, and we think it really falls in with the Independence Day and exciting parts of the year like that. So, can you tell me a little bit about your guys' backstory, how you guys met, and how you guys developed this partnership?
Yeah. Tyler and I actually met at School of Infantry up in North Carolina when we were in the Marine Corps, and we almost immediately had made a connection there. And I mean, I think it was probably like our first weekend on Liberty. We hung out as me, Tyler, his brother, a couple other Marines. Fast forward to, after School of Infantry, we hit the Fleet Marine Force and ended up in the same platoon together, deployed together, fought together, and then stayed in touch afterward.
Wow. Well, thank you for your service. First and foremost, I know you guys have been through it, and you've come back, and now you get the honor of having the veterans discount with us, which you guys have over and above earned. So me, the whole team at AMP Lighting, definitely want to thank you guys for that. Tyler, anything you'd want to add?
No, Levi pretty much touched on everything. We've been through a lot. When we were in the Marine Corps together, obviously starting a business, that we go through a lot with that. So he's pretty much hit everything that I can think of.
Where do you see your experience and also you guys working in the Marine Corps together? Where do you see some of those traits have translated into being successful in lighting together?
I would say the main one for me would be the adapt and overcome. We use that constantly.
Yeah, I double down on that. Yeah, I mean, you get into these installs, and almost every install has a surprise to it, and we just find a way out. Kind of like in being in combat, when you go to toe with an enemy. I mean, there's only one winner, but you just have to figure it out. And beyond the installs, just in business in general, just have to figure it out, adapt and overcome. Life is full of challenges, and business has a lot of them.
Except in this one, there's two winners in this situation.
Yeah.
2024, we're about halfway through this year. Challenges on an installation. What would you say is the biggest adapt and overcome we've seen yet this year?
Well, just thinking in recent installs, there was one in particular where, I had designed this lighting system out, and it had 60 some lights total that we installed. It's a combination of downlights and uplights and trees. And after hanging around until after night, I realized, hey, there's a lot here that needs to be changed. And I ended up working till like 5 a.m, moving and re-aiming lights to get the finished product that I was looking for.
Yeah, I would say this year for me, it's been a lot of service calls, not from us, but from other companies that were kind of going out and wanting like redesign, their lights to look different. So for us, it's adding to that and then having to change other, recent guys. We've ran into that a lot this year, I think.
Levi, out till 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean,
Yeah.
we all know that Marines are built different, but that's that I think right there just really shows how much different you guys are built and the lengths you're willing to go. And I personally don't know what else could be more adapt and overcome than that. I mean, that is commitment to making sure that your customer is happy. Because I could almost guarantee they weren't out there till 5 o'clock in the morning adjusting lights out there, were they?
No.
following the military, can you guys explain a little bit about your journey getting into lighting?
So Tyler and I, we'd get together, I don't know, about every year almost, every year, every couple years. And it was always the same thing with, we felt the same way, that it just, what we were doing, just kind of the daily grind, working for somebody else, it just wasn't scratching an itch that we had, that like we just felt like there was more, more out there for us. And, it as it's pretty well known, a lot of prior military have a hard time transitioning into civilian life. And I don't really know exactly why that is, but for lighting in particular, it's just a way that we can kind of reconnect to society and do something that we excel at, and it's like every project is a new challenge, and it's just extremely rewarding. It's a lot of hard work, but the tangible outcome of the lighting, how it transforms a property, and then seeing how happy the customers are afterwards once they see it. It just, I don't know, there's nothing like it.
How about for you, Tyler? Like a little bit of the journey from your side.
Yeah, it's we started this in 2022, I believe, and it's kind of the same thing as Levi was. I love the the work that we put in. We both love working with our hands. We love being outside. It's just one of those things. It's like you work all day, and then if you stay there into the night, you get to see what you did. Like you get that gratification of your hard work shows at the end of the day.
I learned something before we hopped on this call about Levi that I didn't know. Levi, you have a background in stage lighting and low voltage lighting. Tell me about where this carried you through to like really keep the passion for landscape lighting.
So I did stage lighting for 2 years, and this is actually prior to the Marine Corps. Stage lighting, and then on to low voltage with alarm systems, TV, telephone, stereo and surround sound. But with the lighting, it was all about design and angles, color, setting the mood, and those two with landscape lighting, they kind of marry, in that it's low voltage, and it's all about where you're putting the source of the light, the wattage, the beam angles, and then the color temperature.
Tyler, I know you have a past in concrete work, and I'm pretty sure that you told me your father's also an electrician.
Yep.
How did all of this come around, and how does it help you? I can safely assume part of it has to do something with why you guys are known around here as like the king of core drilling. Your guys' experience with core drilling and the way you use those lights and how often you do them on your installs is so much more than anybody else we know.
Yeah. We, me and Levi kind of talked about the core drilling thing before we actually jumped off into it. Some of the guys that work for us are, when you start drilling into something that's permanent, it kind of gets scary. And that's kind of where it was nice for me being in the background of concrete. It is, if something messes up, we can fix it. It's not a big deal. That's what I tell my guys a lot is, everything's fixable, so don't be scared to make a decision. And, we kind of wanted to get into the core drilling because nobody does it, in our areas, Levi in the upstate of South Carolina and here in Florida and in North Florida where I live is you don't see a lot of core drilling. It's kind of one of those things. It's harder than just going to stick a light in the ground and, covering up a trench. So I think me and him both like a challenge, and we get into lighting and we try to find the biggest challenge, I think. So it kind of runs, for me, I love the challenge of it. I think that's probably kind of how Levi is as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That, and then, when it comes to the design aspect, concrete and hardscape, it poses an obstacle. But to have a complete cohesive lighting design and outcome, it really is necessary being able to put lights in hard surfaces, and it just takes the project to the next level by being able to do that. It kind of goes back to the adapt and overcome. It's like, hey, we need light right here, but it's surrounded by concrete. How are we going to get a light there?
You guys started in South Carolina, and then now you moved out to the Panhandle, Tyler, and Levi stayed running operations in South Carolina. How did we start in South Carolina? But what I'm really curious about is, like, when did you guys decide that it was time to divide and conquer, and Tyler start taking on kind of the tri-state down in the Panhandle, and Levi continue with the progress and growth in South Carolina?
I think it was just kind of we moved I moved my family to South Carolina. The area is growing there. It's very popular. The upstate. I just thought that, it would be a great location. I knew Levi lived there as well, and I was looking for a business partner, and, I couldn't have picked a better business partner than Levi. So it's like, it made sense. We moved and kind of just jumped into it. He talked about the 5 o'clock mornings. There's been tons of mornings in the December and January time that me and him spent out well after midnight installing. So, when we started that, I knew that, it's hard to find employees, good employees, especially a business partner. So I knew, once we did that, we had something there.
And it's never too early to, to look at new opportunities and to expand the business. We got this up and running here and saw the opportunity in Florida to do the same thing down there.
All right, so Levi, the one thing that I've definitely noticed is your passion for design. Like, I've seen a couple different examples of the uplighting and downlighting of trees and native areas on people's properties. The way you highlight the surrounding the trunk, but also using some of our nano fixtures in peaks and in unique areas to accomplish with lighting what other people find so challenging. I guess what I'm asking is, how have you used our nano products to conquer and overcome?
A lot of people will just only uplight something, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with just uplighting it. But at least the homes up here in South Carolina, there's different levels. I guess what I'm thinking behind that is, hey, I want to highlight the architecture of this home. You want them to see, not just the first level, but the second level as well. How are we going to get light up there? So there's nano fixtures. They fit so perfectly up in the peaks of homes, and it just creates a really nice design, as you look across the scene from left to right when you have both up and down lighting. And then there's other times where, it'll be up lighting, but we're going up to the second level, mounting lights in gutters to shoot the second level. every project is different, so sometimes it doesn't, whereas downlighting from the peaks is a good option, and for one project it just might not work another project. But yeah, I mean, what's great is you guys have so many good fixtures to choose from, and that Nano series is just it's great.
What was your customer's reaction? Like, one of my favorite pictures, I've got two different projects I'm thinking of. Well, the one project that comes to mind is the way you use the pucks to downlight all of the peaks, and you uplight it as well. So the consistency of light coverage on the facade of the home was like, it was great. How did you use the pucks for that?
Yeah. So we went right up. We ran the wire. Part of the home we ran the wire in the J channel. The other part we ran it through the attic and popped right down the soffit with it, where the fixture was going. When I remember going to that, that design consultation and quote, and looking at it thinking, hey, what's the best way we could light the dormers? And then I went from there. I'm like, well, if we light those dormers, we can light the center of the peaks as well. End result, the customer loved it. She called us out there because her property was so dark, and she was recently widowed. So one of her big concerns was safety, and so I'm thinking, well, we need to provide as much light for as possible, but make it look really, really good.
It looked like you definitely accomplished that on that project. The second project that I think about would be the home that you, right over the front door, use the nano flood to light up that peak right there with I think it had like white siding on it. Could they even tell where the light was coming from?
No. And that was an add-on that, it's great to have some of those fixtures just laying around, because they can fill in the gaps on the spot, where you might need to get some light. That was one where it was quoted for just the uplighting on the bottom level, but I'm thinking, hey, this is right in the middle of the home. Let's create a focal point, out of this, and instead of leaving it dark, let's get light up there, and then that way the entire architecture of the home is being lit. But yeah, that was a great. And since then, you guys actually have a gutter mount now for that that works great, by the way.
One more question for Levi, and then I got a couple questions for Tyler. So Levi, you're one of the only contractors that's ever really said to me, and I'm sure there's a ton of them out there that they don't mention it, but you mentioned one time, I added a couple lights to this project. He wasn't willing to pay for them, and he kind of cut it out, but I wasn't willing to sacrifice the quality of my project by not having them. So I threw a couple extra in just so that I could be proud of the outcome because your name's on it. Could you tell me a little bit about that one?
Yeah. So that was the customer, and the big reason he didn't want to spend a lot of money on it was he was selling the home, and he was wanting to light it for the listing picture, which I think is a great idea. Every job is every project is very personal to us, and our name is attached to each one. If anybody asks that homeowner who did their lighting, he says Tri-State Lighting. Well, they've already created an opinion about what the lighting looks like, and if it doesn't look good, we don't want our names attached to it. So yeah, I mean, I threw some fixtures in there free of charge just to make a cohesive lighting design. And it was after that, there was another area of his home that he wanted to light after that. And he's like, hey, I think it could use light here as well. I think you're right. So I threw a couple fixtures in there, and then he ended up throwing some more in after that.
Very cool. Tyler, two projects that come to mind for you with me. The first project that I think of is when you did that whole driveway wrapped around with core drilled lights. How many core drills did you have to do on that project?
So the driveway, I believe, had 26, and then we ended up putting, that was the week that the small micro dot came out that you called me about, and we ended up adding, I think, 27 around the pool deck. So we ended up a little over 50 core drills on that job.
How long did that take you?
About 5 days. I think right at a week we were there.
I know both of you have used the core drills. Levi did them in the bricks and in the cut through on the driveway, but you guys both have done a great job with the micro dots. Tell me how you've found them to be so useful on your projects and how you use them to also stick out in different applications.
They're great for pool decks, by the way. They're not crazy bright. They have the color changing ability. The customer, this particular customer, the wife she wasn't there while we were doing it, but the night that we finished, she came and she absolutely loved it, that she could control the different colors. You could put them on I think there's like a strobe mode. There's different modes that you can put them on, and she loved it, especially for, the pool deck when she hosts a lot of people and, having parties and stuff.
Levi, used them crossing a driveway with some bricks.
Yeah, so that particular road is a pretty busy road, and one of the big things is like, for people coming to the house, it's like if you miss the driveway to that house, you're going to drive a ways before you can turn around and come back. So, it's easy, makes the driveway visible. It's something that the customer can say, hey, I'm the driveway with the lights going across the entrance to it. Two, it's very aesthetically pleasing as well. So, and that, and even from a safety aspect, from exiting the driveway, if you weren't paying attention, it's one of those kind of marking the end there. Maybe, if they're happen to look down at their phone or not necessarily paying attention, or maybe off in La La Land, it's like, hey, I'm the end of the driveway. There's danger beyond here. So it kind of serves two purposes there. We had to, for running the wire, we had to grind out the mortar line and then fill it back in afterwards.
It came out clean. I mean, if there's anything, they are super low profile, that, like you said, aesthetically pleasing with how low profile they are, but also using them as an indication for navigation, they're fantastic. And you definitely accomplished that with the install. Tyler, you gave me a call about like the tiki torches when you were doing that project. I think you saw the tiki torch at our training. You went home. Within 2 weeks, you found a project to install them on, and you installed what, like 6 of them?
I think 5 on that job. But I tell you, that's the first time I've seen the tiki lights at the training. And that particular job, I think, was a couple of weeks after I left the training. And after the job was finished, he told me, the customer ended up telling me the reason that I won the bid is because I had the idea of the tiki torches, and nobody else offered that. And he loved the idea. We ended up putting the color changing bulbs in there because they do a lot of hosting for parties. They're big football fans, so they can change the colors to whatever team that they were watching. But he absolutely loved the tiki torches, and that's the whole reason I got the job.
And you used the RF color changing G4 bipins, so you had a couple different zones set up on that. Yep.
I think we had 3 zones set up on that whole house because we did the front with uplighting, and we put a gutter mount on his dormer in the front, and then we've done all the tiki stuff around back.
I think on that project, what we can say the adapt and overcome is that those tiki torches stayed lit in the wind in that video you sent me when you guys finished.
Yeah, we were having some bad weather during that time, and I remember sending you that video. It was rough, but hey, I ended up, now they're at my house. I got them around my pool deck. We love the tiki lights.
Are yours color changing as well?
Oh yeah. We got the color changing ones.
Do the kids play with it?
Every day. They love them.
Oh, that's awesome.
But by the way, the way the blue looks shining down with the flame on top, like that amber
awesome.
flame looks so good.
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's awesome. That is really cool. How have like the core values that you've learned in the military made you such trusted contractors in your community?
Yeah. For me, I would just say, doing the right thing. That's one thing you don't see a lot of. Guys are always trying to get over on people, it seems like, out here, and showing up. That's the two. That's one thing the military taught us. You show up and be early. If you're on time, you're late. One of those sort of things. So we show up and we just do the right thing and basically don't stop until the customer's happy. That's kind of what we both thrive off of. If the customer doesn't like it, we'll go back the next day and kind of fix it to their, whatever they're wanting specifically, even if it doesn't align with what we think it, but at the end of the day, they're the one that's paying for the product.
How about you, Levi? I know you just had an employee that just graduated from basic. He's part of the tri-state family. You put in the caption on the Facebook post, he always has a job with you guys. Can you explain like how your military family between the two of you has now expanded into the tri-state family?
Yeah, so with being veterans, we care deeply for other veterans, but then beyond that, with in the military, the structure that they learn. Timelines. The military is all about timelines, which, translating into, being a lighting contractor, hey, we've got a lot of timelines, and sometimes you have to stay at a job until 5 a.m. Just to get it done. But being in the military, you get used to that. Really, we want to reach out to other veterans and employ as many of them as we can. But one, because we know how hard the transition is from military to civilian life. And, if you could go from being in the military to, an employer who has been there, it'll help tremendously because you already have somebody who understands, what you're going through, what you've been through, and then what you're going through with the transition. Yeah,
that's so important.
Now, in terms of trust, it's one of those things. Whenever a customer finds out that we're veteran owned, there's always there's almost always a connection there where they're like, oh, hey, my dad served, or my friend served, or my brother served, or, in it, that in and of itself, being able to, converse with a potential client about something other than lighting, making some kind of connection there, it goes a long way.
And then also with AMP being the factory direct already discounted products, you guys get to have the benefit of getting the veteran discount. Our company, our owner, the president of our company also really appreciate veterans, and that's something that's really important to us. So hopefully that's helped you guys with the bottom line on your projects.
Yes, very, very much so. That and thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for that. That makes a huge, huge difference.
It does. And hitting on that, I want to hit on that for a second. Not only the military discount, but and the customer service that AMP provides. Just being able to call and hey, this is what I'm dealing with. What do you think? That along with the warranty. Everything about it is just it's so. Me and Levi's discussed this several times from some other companies that we've used too. But AMP, the customer service there is just like really, really, really good.
Oh yeah, Yeah, we've never had better customer service, and beyond that, with the discount, you guys are the only only manufacturer that offers that.
Yep.
Yeah, we've never worked
Good.
with anybody who's given us a military discount.
Wow. Well, we appreciate your service, and we appreciate you guys. You guys are definitely some of my favorite contractors to work with. I've learned a lot just from working with you, but you're also just great guys. And it makes answering that phone call, working with contractors, even if you're experiencing an issue, that we get to work through it together. That's what makes this job so rewarding for me. And when it's great guys like you guys, it makes it even more enjoyable. So you're definitely someone's name. When I see it pop up on my phone, I'm always happy to answer.
We appreciate it, Justin.
Likewise.
Tyler, outside of lighting now, I know you teach baseball, or you coach baseball, excuse me.
Softball.
How often's that? And it seems like it takes up a lot of your time. What else do you do besides coach baseball in your free time?
Man, so I coach my little girls softball, and pretty much between work and softball, that's pretty much my life right now. I have three girls at that age that they play pretty much every weekend, and that's pretty much what we do, man. We do lighting and softball.
Levi, what else besides lighting do you get your hands on a daily basis as a hobby?
There's besides lighting and drinking coffee, there's really, I like to cook. I really do like to cook, but other than that, I'm just anything I can get my hands on, reading wise, as far as lighting goes. I mean, that's about it. My time's totally consumed with the business, and I love it. I do.
That's good. All right. So I know Tri-State Lighting started out with permanent trim lighting, which is definitely a fad going on right now. But you guys saw that there was a gap to fill in the need of home illumination and residential mostly, and you started doing landscape lighting after that. Where did you fill that gap, and when did that come, or why did you do it?
Yeah, so one thing where, as great of a product, as the permanent lighting is, not everybody wants it. And then, you have the other customers who will get both, and they both complement each other. When you get up and down lighting, you get a complete lighting system. With the permanent holiday lighting, you can click a button and put a holiday pattern on, and you still have your up lighting, for the architecture going along with it, and the landscape lighting. But yeah, no, it was, they go hand in hand. They're both low voltage, they're both outdoor, and it was just a way for us to reach more people, and just another tool in our bag for lighting.
Anything to add, Tyler?
Yeah. I mean, I think, I think we kind of did it a little backwards. Most people start with the landscape stuff and add the permanent holiday. We started with the permanent holiday, and like Levi said, I mean, some customers, they love the permanent holiday, but then you still have customers that want the traditional landscape. So we wanted to add that to our arsenal, so we could get both needs for whatever customers wanted.
Very cool. Tyler, Levi, Tri-State Lighting, graduate of our training center, top contractor for July, contractor of the month, core drill experts, design experts. We are thrilled to have you as contractor of the month for us. We're thrilled to have you as contractors and to partner with every day and be a part of your projects. We really can't thank you enough for your service as veterans, and we're just happy to have you here.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. It means the world to us.